Hey, what's up?
What are you doing here? Go home.
What?
Bye.
You know what? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never.
You talk too much. Your feet stink. And I just don't like you.
What is up to all my lights out there? It's Suave, and today we are talking about the power of words. I guess one of the first questions that we all ask ourselves is, do words have power? Well, the answer is yes, if we were to be simple about it, because words are sound. Sound is energy, so when you speak words, you emit a certain amount of energy. Now, to determine how much power words have depends on two things, and that is, one, how much the person who is receiving the words spoken to them is taking it in and giving it attention. How much they're feeding into what is being spoken. And two would be how much intent, energy, and belief the person who is speaking the words is putting behind the words being spoken. Now, if the person who is speaking those words wants to hurt someone with the words that they are speaking, if the person who they speak the hurtful words to takes those words in and starts feeding onto those words and giving those words attention, then those words will most likely have an impact on them, and those words will be a lot more powerful because they too are believing the words that are being spoken and feeding into it and giving attention to the words that are being spoken to them. So they're starting to take that in. When you have belief and you have a certain intention that you want to give and you put that behind the words that you are speaking, it makes a bigger impact.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
When you actually can feel the emotion that someone believes that the words that they're saying is true, then you start to believe it as well. You start to feel that energy and start to believe that what they're saying is genuine and what they're saying is true if you're taking those words in. Now, if it's something that you don't believe that's true to you, or if it's something that you actually don't want to feed and put attention into, then you don't have to. And if you actually stray away from that and you actually don't put attention into it and you don't feed into it, you can break away from believing that. You can break away from feeding the energy into that. You want to have an intent when you're speaking words. What do you intend on getting or intend on relaying when you're speaking the words that you are speaking? Let me tell you why the sticks and stones phrase can actually be effective and it can actually work. When we use that phrase, sticks and stones, if you actually believe the words that you are speaking and that you are saying when saying sticks and stones may break my bones, the whole words will never hurt me. When you actually say that and you believe the words that you are saying more than what is actually being said about you or to you, then that's where it can be effective because you're feeding their energy more into what you're saying and you're believing more in that than what the person is speaking to you. So you're not feeding attention into what's being spoken. I think that's pretty much the idea for how you want to go about using words and taking in words is if you don't want the words that are being spoken about you to have an effect, you have to remove your attention to them and not feed so much into the words that are being spoken about you. That is the answer to avoiding hurtful words in general, is to not take it in and to not give attention to it. One of my favorite quotes out there is, if you don't like something, take away its only power, your attention. Companies out there pay billions on millions of dollars to do ads, commercials, they're doing billboards, they're doing all these different types of things to reach out to people, to get more people to give them attention. Because the more that we feed attention into these things, the more that they're going to get word of mouth, the more that people are going to be drawn to them, the more that people are going to come to them. Popeyes didn't just sell out of chicken sandwiches just because it's so delicious and that was it. No, it was more so the combination of how good the sandwich is and the word of mouth and the attention that people were bringing to it. It was so much attention that was being put on it, even if it was negative, even if it was positive, all the attention that was being put on it was sparking more people to go out and try it, more people to see what the fuss is about, more people to give attention to it. So that's why I say any attention can be powerful. Once we decide not to feed into the words that are being spoken about us that are trying to hurt us or harm us in some way, we start to reject those words from our reality. We're basically saying that this is not my reality, I do not agree with this, and this is not going to affect me in this way because I feel like this is not something that pertains to me. Do not vibe with something and stay on the same frequency with something that is not truthful to you. Okay? You want to change your frequency and remove all of that and not vibe on the same frequency as that stuff so you can vibe on a different frequency, on a higher level. Do not match the frequency of the words and stuff that are being spoken to you. So just change your frequency. Just change that frequency. Change it. There you go. Let's say you're giving something negative attention, right? And you're focusing negatively on something. Now you focusing on that thing negatively and speaking negatively about it, you're bringing eyes to that. Now these other eyes have different perspectives. Not all these eyes in the background are going to agree with you. So that's why I say all eyes is giving power to it, because you're bringing more eyes and attention and focus onto whatever it is that you're speaking and giving attention to. I hope that makes sense. But yes, that makes sense to me. I resonate with it, so I hope you guys resonate with it as well. I guess another thing to ask is, why is it important to watch what we say? It's important to watch what we say because when we put power and intention behind something and we really believe in it, as I said earlier, sometimes people do not know how to remove that and not believe that the words that are being spoken about them in that way. They don't know how to change that frequency. They don't know how to tune things out or not feed into it. So when you're speaking hurtful words and you may mean for it to hurt that person and you really believe that and you're really putting intent behind hurting them, some people can really take that in and feed into that themselves and start feeding more into that, what you said, more than how you meant it. Just because you planted that seed by speaking those words. We don't want people to feed into stuff to where it may harm them or they may feel way more emotionally damaged by the words that are being spoken because their mindset wasn't at a good place to remove some of the things that are being spoken in a hurtful way about them. And sometimes they're being attacked from all angles. Maybe you have spoken those words and put that energy onto them, and someone else has spoken something similar and put that same energy onto them, and they're feeding into both. You don't want to open that box to where you're breaking down a person so bad and they're feeding into energy all over the place and it's damaging them. We sometimes as people, we use our words as weapons.
Not much of a marksman.
We literally use them as weapons and we attack people with our words. We just shoot words out.
Look at this hairpin trigger here.
In hopes to really hurt someone. And I feel like words aren't meant to really hurt and attack people. We should be using words to help people. We should be using words to spread awareness. There's a difference between speaking negatively on something and spreading awareness on something. If you're spreading awareness, you're trying to make people aware. So you're bringing attention to something so people are aware of a situation so they don't put themselves in the same situation, especially if it's a bad situation. Correction is another thing. Now with correction, you're speaking words to help build and help someone rather than tear someone down with speaking negativity or spread awareness with spreading awareness. So though that's how it differs from those other two. Are you correcting someone to help them build and to help them grow, to help them learn? Are you correcting someone because you want someone to be humiliated, to look bad? Do you want to make yourself look better? That's when correction is not good from that point of view.
Let's take a roll here. Jay Quellen. Where's Jay Quellen at? No Jay Quellen here? Yeah.
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Y'all wanna play. Okay, then. I've got my eye on you, Jay Quellen.
Now also with correction, it depends on the other person, the person that you are actually correcting as well. Because sometimes what happens is the person who is being corrected puts a bad mental verbiage in their head. And they automatically start beating themselves up. So they take those words and spin it into a negative way. It's more so them and their lives and what they're going through. And they feed on that and they start to beat themselves up over what has been said. So they don't take it as help or correction. They more so look at it as, oh, this person looks at me bad, this person thinks I'm horrible, this person thinks I'm wrong, or whatever the case is, and they start to mentally beat themselves up. The person who's being corrected needs to look at it as correction to help them grow, to help them build, but the person who is correcting them also needs to put that intention out there so they can actually grasp that energy. Sometimes we need to be able to see stuff from other people's perspectives when we're trying to speak about someone negatively, because sometimes someone's going through something internally and that is why they're speaking negatively towards you. Just try to see things from their perspective to try to get an understanding. You know, and sometimes when you can be kind to people who are being negative to you, you help them to ease that. Then they take in that energy and they start to, hey, why am I being rude? I didn't have a reason to do that. And they start to come to an understanding and they start to be more kind and they start to respect themselves more and respect other people more. So basically, instead of kill them with kindness, heal them with kindness. So you want to speak words of kindness to heal them. You don't need to speak negatively about someone. You don't need to. Before you speak negatively about a person, replace whatever you're going to say with I. Speak the words that you're going to speak about that person like you were going to speak it about yourself. And then take that into consideration and see how you would feel if those words that you were about to say about that person was being spoken to you. Now, another thing with words, and I think this is one of the greatest things about speaking words, is speaking things into existence. When we use our words and we put belief and intention behind them and really believe in it and really focus on these words and really start speaking it more and more, we can speak things into existence. We can make things happen by the words that we speak because we believe in it so much and we're putting so much energy behind it that things start to manifest. Things start to really happen and move out of our way to make these things come about. So that's something that I was saying to carry with you today is use your words. Your words are powerful. Use them wisely and use them in ways that are true to you. Make sure to let me know down in the comment section below how you use your words and how powerful you think words are. Some situations or scenarios that you went through where you felt that words really made an impact on you, good or bad. Make sure to add me on all social media. That will be down in the description box. If you like this video, make sure to give it a coin flip. Hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you guys can stay connected with me and follow me on this journey. And as always, make sure to keep growing, keep loving, keep connecting, and keep spreading light. Bye, guys.